Your doctor has ordered the Neuroadrenal panel from Labrix. You'll see the contents of the panel outlined here on the table. This test kit is a two-part collection, one with urine and one with saliva. You'll see the portion of the urine collection over here to the left. You'll find within your kit a clear plastic tube with a white cap. Before you get started, make sure that you label the tube here with your name at the top, first and last name spelled clearly, the collection date that you collect the urine, and then also your date of birth. And then pay special attention to this very top line that says fill to line. What you'll do very first thing in the morning as soon as you wake up is you'll urinate into a disposable paper or plastic cup that you have at home, and then transfer that urine into this tube here. You can either use a pipette that might be included within your kit, or just very, very carefully transferring the urine into this tube, making sure that it does not go any further than that very top line there. You'll notice there is a little bit of powder at the end of this tube here. Make sure that no little ones are around it so that they don't ingest it, because it might be toxic or harmful to them. If you're one of the people who urinates during the night, don't fear. What you'll do is you'll just urinate just a little bit in that paper plastic cup that you set near the toilet to complete this test. And then going back to sleep, when you finally get up for the rest of the day, urinate a little bit more into that cup, more so than what you did in the middle of the night. Mix it well to disperse both those urines together, and then fill into this tube here with a combination of those two urines. Making sure, once again, not to fill anything past that very top black line. You'll put the cap on, make sure that the tread of the plastic cap and the tube matches up well so that it can be nice and tight. Making sure everything is labeled. This little piece of paper towel that's in there, make sure that that's nice and wrapped around this to collect any sort of condensation or liquid that might leak out from here, which is why it's extremely important for you to fill this nicely, not too much, but also making sure that that's nice and twisted on tight. After you're done with this urine collection, this will go straight into the freezer. For the next portion of things is the saliva. The saliva is a 4-point saliva collection with 4 different times during the day. I've outlined here the chronological order that you'll use these tubes. You'll notice that there's some straws included within this envelope. That's to make spitting into this a little bit easier. Oops, the way that you'll set this up is you'll put that little straw into the tube just like so, and you'll spit directly into this tube until you fill it about 3/4 of the way. Once you're done with that 3/4 of the way saliva, you'll take this straw, toss it in the trash can, and just secure this. Make sure you hear those 2 clicks to say that it's nice and sealed. Verify that there's just liquid up to that 3/4 mark. If you're someone who collects some air bubbles when you spit into this vial, just slam it on the counter or just place it briefly into the freezer and that will pop the bubbles. Using this little straw makes that bubble formation much less likely. So this first one here, I'll open this back up to show. This first one here is the pink one. This is collected 30 minutes after you awake, making sure that you fasted between a 6 and an 8-hour period, no food, no toothpaste, no water, and then you'll spit into that tube like I had showed you, and then you'll mark on here when that was that you had collected that. The second vial is the green one, which is just a little bit darker. Same deal, you're going to spit into this using the straw, filling it up to that 3/4 of the way mark, closing with those 2 clicks. You'll place it into the freezer when complete, again marking when you collected it, and this one will be done before lunch. So again, not eating, not drinking, no toothpaste, but you can have the breakfast in between here. It's really just 30 to 60 minutes before you eat. Make sure that that's when you collect it. The third one is the orange vial, looking like so. Same deal for collection. This one you'll do about 30 to 60 minutes before you eat dinner. You're welcome to eat throughout the day, of course, but making sure that you're not eating 30 to 60 minutes before you're collecting these vials, again, noting what time it is that you collect it. And then the fourth one is just before you go to bed, again, making sure that you note when you have collected it on there. The blue one is a little bit like a grayish blue color, but that is the correct tube there. After each saliva collection, you're going to make sure to put each vial into the freezer in order to freeze fully. Once you're done with all 4 vials, You're going to make sure you put your first and last name spelled clearly and legibly, your date of birth, and the date of collection. All the timings here, making sure that they're nice and easily read. You're welcome to use military time if that's easiest for you, or if not, just putting AM or PM when you're marking this as well. Once this is done, everything will be nice and snapped shut. You'll use this little square of paper towel to place into this bag, just like so. And then all of the other 3 tubes will be put into here as well, all looking like this pink one, and they'll all be put into the freezer. You'll find this little ice pack that's in there. You're welcome to place it into the freezer ahead of time, making sure that it's nice and flat and not all squished up here, because that makes transport really difficult when it's frozen a little bit deformed. So making sure that it's nice and flat. You'll set that into this little styrofoam pack just like this. We'll pretend that all 4 of those little vials are in here with everything all nicely labeled. You'll make sure all that air is out of the bag. Put it in there just like that. Your urine vial is going to go straight in there just like this. These straws will be tossed away. If you did get a pipette in your kit for the urine, that can be thrown away as well. Here's some additional information just with some extra preparation, recommendations, some extra collection information, double-sided. There are a couple test kits that are included within this test kit. If this one is telling you to avoid, for example, the different foods here, pay no mind to that. The only preparation that's needed for this test is to make sure that you're avoiding any sort of caffeinated beverage, including coffee and tea, and not using any adrenal glandulars or adrenal support only the day of the collection. You're welcome to use your coffee, your tea, your adrenal support the day before, but the day of, please avoid. The reasoning behind that is we want to make sure that we're getting a nice baseline reading of your cortisol levels. You'll have your little requisition here that likely the staff will have completed prior to your departure. This kit is not billed to insurance. It is only cash pay, and you will be charged for this kit at the time of your visit. You'll notice at the very top here, your provider's information will be filled out with their signature. We'll have the selection for number 2 as a physician account because you had paid at the physician's practice, so they will bill us. You will likely have this test selected here for the neuroadrenal panel. The physician will take care of any additional add-on information at the lower part of this square here. You are responsible for the collection information, so noting just really transferring the information for the timing collection-wise just on this bar here, and if you're a female, making sure to complete this portion. The staff will likely have completed this prior to your departure as well, but just make sure that everything is correct for your demographics. And then right here where you see that little red X, making sure that you sign this and date. You do not need to put anything in the check or credit card because, like I mentioned, you will have been billed for this test at the time of service at our office. And like I mentioned, there is no insurance coverage for this, so please disregard this section. Once this is complete, you make sure everything looks okay with everything all spelled correctly, and you have made sure that all this collection information and the female portion is filled out if that's applicable for you. Fold this in half. We'll pretend, like I said, all of those guys are located in this little styrofoam here. You'll place this requisition on the outside of that styrofoam. Reason being is that the condensation from the ice pack can sometimes make the ink bleed on the requisition, which we certainly do not want. You'll put that styrofoam into this box here with that requisition on top. There is an additional little survey that you're welcome to fill out for the lab that we'll be sending this to. As best as you can. It's just included with the results, just as kind of a more comprehensive view. You'll put both of those in there just like that and seal it up. So once again, all these 3 other tubes would be in here. You'd open up this FedEx bag here. You can affix this little sticker to the front of it. It's a prepaid stamp. You can put your return address information on there and then simply place this box into the bag. You'll seal it by taking off this little red piece here, and then either contact FedEx for a scheduled pickup at your home or drop off at a location near you. This will not be shipped from our office, so please only use FedEx for shipping. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our front desk or your provider.